Hi guys, welcome back. At this point, I'm going to assume most of you have seen the review for the CL-86 HALCONES, and I'd like to take a few minutes just to run through the installation process. It's actually a pretty simple installation process. Of course, being a full tower case, it fits, very large graphics cards very easily. My full-size ATX motherboard fit in there very easily. Working inside the case was a breeze. There were a few little things that I want to be able to point out as I go along and just show some of the nice little nuances of building inside the CL-86 HALCONES. Alright guys, so now that we've taken a good look at the case overall and all the features of the case, the types of connections and hard drive bays and optical drive bays, the fan controllers and all the fan positions, I want to start a video showing installation, showing anything great or anything that causes problems. So we're going to start here with an installation. You can see that there is already the standoffs for your full-size ATX motherboard there. So we're just going to get right into that, get the motherboard in there, get the power supply in there, and get it all running. That way we can do some benchmarking and see what the differences in cooling is using the fan controllers at low, medium, and high, and then with some of the fans on or off. Of course, it does only come with two fans, the one in the front and the one in the back, but it does have a controller for up to 4 fans, and then again the large fan position on the side and the large fan position on the top. But those fans do not come with the case, so we will be testing just with the front intake and the rear exhaust fan and see what kind of temperatures we can maintain in this, the CL-86 HALCONES from CaseCom. Alright, as we build in the CL-86 HALCONES from CaseCom, I just want to point out, it's a full-size tower. I expected to have plenty of room, and sure enough you do. You can see, even with the full-size ATX, I've got the power supply in there and just the basic starts to the build. There is a lot of room. You're going to have plenty of room at the top even for maybe a thin radiator. I expect to put my little AIO radiator up here. I imagine it'll take up about this much space, which leaves plenty of room even for the RAM. I'm going to leave the rear exhaust fan in place rather than move it. Then I'll just put the radiator up top here. Again, in the position for the large fans, it does have the screw holes here and here for 120 millimeters, which is what my AIO is. So from there you can see plenty of room for the power supply. It does have the dust filters also, which I failed to mention earlier. I meant to and got distracted. The point is, you can see a lot of easy cable management. It's going to be an easy task to route all your cables through there. You're going to have plenty of room and plenty of tie downs. So that was just a quick update of how things are going to start fitting in there as we complete the build. And I'll check back with you guys in a moment as I get more of the components installed. Installing the hard drives. Again, I showed the toolless features of the CL-86 HALCONES earlier, but installing the hard drives is pretty simple. You pull the little side tab out of the little rubber grommets here, and those will prevent vibration, and then the hard drive slides right in, and you put these back in and they take the place of the screws fitting into the screw holes of the hard drive. And then once everything's in place and you slide it back into the case itself, then the force of the hard drive bay actually holds those little clips in place, and you have a pretty simple installation for the hard drives in there. I've only got one, but again, you have plenty of room for, a total of 7 there. And these are, again, I mentioned in the actual review, they do fit 2.5-inch solid state drives quite easily. You'll have to actually go ahead and screw those down though. But the 3.5-inch standard hard drive is a toolless installation. Installing the optical drives is as easy as anything could be. You just turn the little latch here, which releases the side panel, and you kind of want to watch and see where the latch lines up so that you see where the little screw pegs line up on which holes. Of course, it does have extra holes in case that doesn't fit. You can use a screw, but this is going to fit just fine. For me, it lines up right there, and actually right there, and it's that easy to install, and then you just repeat the process for the other side. As simple as that. Alright guys, welcome back. I'm still working on the build. Just thought I'd show the top plastic cover for this case. It's a good, you can see, 3, maybe almost 4 inches thick. I've got my tape measure put away somewhere. I'll get exact measurements on that later for the actual review. But plenty of room for a small thin radiator or a couple of fans. So what I've done is install my little AIO radiator on the inside here and continue to use a push-pull system with a fan on the inside. And I have plenty of room in there, but with the second fan on the inside, it actually covers up like my Q code and my power buttons that are on the motherboard. Not that I actually use them very often, but I figured I'd leave those open and go ahead and install this second fan on the outside, and you can see that there's plenty of room, and that's just one more thing you're able to hide. And we all know the more fans and the more cables and the more hoses that we're able to hide inside these cases, the better it's going to be, the cleaner it's going to look. At least that is my opinion. So now you can see that I have the little AIO radiator up top there with one fan on the inside, and then I'll just drop the little CPU cooler right here. I don't know exactly how I'm going to route those hoses. That's probably going to be it right there. But pretty simple installation. Even if you had a full water loop, of course they provide all the hose management here, and you could put a radiator up top on the inside underneath that ventilation for the top for exhaust. And really a lot of space in this case. I'm actually pretty impressed. I knew, of course, being a full tower case, that it would have a lot of excess space. Alright guys, so I've been working on the CL-86 HALCONES from CaseCom, and I've pretty much got all the components in there, and of course everything fits beautifully. And I get back here to the cable management, and at first glance it looks like, and there is, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good cable management. There's a lot of grommets, there's a lot of tie downs. My only problem here is, if I'm trying to utilize the fan controller, it is a huge mash of wires and clips, and there's really nowhere to put that. It's just going to kind of dangle here. It's out of view from the front, but it's, if I put it over on this side, it's going to be in the way of closing the case. I'm afraid. It may not be. But the thing I wanted to point out is this other piece with all these Molex. And I've hounded on the Molex before, and I'm going to do it again. There's got to be a better way. Simply put, there has to be a better way. Any 4-pin connector, any connector of any kind would be better than Molex. Look how big this is to try to put back here. And then none of them turned exactly the right way, trying to make them flat. It's just silly. I mean, the case is a nice case and it has some great cable management, but the need for all these Molex to run one fan controller well, and the, I'm sorry, the fan controller and the SATA power for the hot swappable hard drive up there. Those are nice features, but there's got to be a better way than using all this Molex cable. I mean, that's, you know, that's, what is this, 1980? You know, I don't know. So that's just my only gripe really so far, which is nothing. I mean, that's nothing. You know, that's not that big a deal. I'm going to tie them off over here really good. I'm going to flatten down the rest of these cables and stuff. And it's going to be beautiful, you know, don't get me wrong. But I just wanted to point out that, once again, I hate Molex. And I wish somebody, somewhere, some case company would say, hey, let's stop using Molex. Let's remove it from the power supplies, remove it from the cases. It's old, it's obsolete, and it doesn't even work very well. I mean, half the time you push them together and they don't line up and one of the wires pops out the back. You know, either way though. But we'll get back to finishing up the CL-86 HALCONES. Just wanted to take a quick moment and get a good look at the way it looks with everything in there and all the installation complete. And I wanted to, you know, let you guys get a good idea of how it looks. It's all on, it's running. You really can't see that red LED on the front. I've got it turned up to maximum, and you honestly really can hardly even see the red LED glow. It's just kind of there. Let me pop this side panel off real fast and show you guys the inside with all the components in place. You can see there is a lot of room in there still. Even with this large 280X, I've still got about an inch at the end here. Something I wanted to mention, these hard drive bays, they're not modular at all. They don't really come out. You could take them out, but you have to really do a little bit of work and undo all the screws off the bottom and the top here. Either way though, you can see how it looks. Pretty decent looking cable management. Yeah, everything's tucked away, everything's really nice. Plenty of room here at the bottom for a eATX motherboard. This is a full-size ATX motherboard, and I've still got about an inch of space, and this one has 4 PCIe slots for quad SLI or quad crossfire. So once again, that's pretty much it. Just the complete build. Show the cable management on the other side real fast for y'all. I got all that done and tucked away. You know, it could be a little bit better probably, but again, this is pretty much a temporary build. Some of this I just ended up leaving hanging. There's really nowhere to tie that down. Most of the tie downs are centralized here, whereas unfortunately most of the cables, the 8 or 4 pin CPU needs to come around the side. And once I start doing the cable management, you'll notice there's not really any tie downs over here, none across the top, and there's none on the inside here. They all start right across the center here and across down here at the bottom. So not a lot of, even though there are a lot of tie downs, they're not all really wonderfully positioned for being able to use. There is one tie down here at the bottom, but I couldn't even get all of the cables into that one single tie down. So and then one here in the center and one here at the top. So they do run, there's one each between these grommets, but there's none on the side, none on this inside, and none around the edges at all. But overall, pretty easy build, pretty simple to install all the components. Of course, it is plenty large for really just about anything you want to put in there. You can fit lots of good radiators, lots of large fans, anything like that. So it has that going for it. Thanks for watching the installation of the CL-86 HALCONES from CaseCom. And we hope to see you guys over on our forums at www.hightechlegion.com. And maybe jump over to Facebook and give us a like there. If you follow Twitter, you want to keep up with our regular daily and weekly updates, then follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you there. Thanks.